folks, Eric here again. And if you recognize this lick, then you may be one of the big time hardcore Tony Rice fans there are. This comes from a kind of, maybe what you might call an obscure, maybe, would be an obscure album here, called The Pizza Tapes. And this is Appetizer, and if I'm not mistaken, Appetizer number 2. And this lick has eluded me for years, but I think I finally nailed it. And just to give you a little background on the Pizza Tapes, I've got it pulled up here on Wikipedia. In February of 1993, David Grisman was playing with Tony Rice, and he invited Jerry Garcia to his studio. Over the nights of February 4th and 5th, the trio recorded what would be known as the Pizza Tapes. Garcia's copy was supposedly given to a pizza delivery person, and not long after that, David Grisman heard a song on the radio in New York City. Fans started bringing tapes to the Grateful Dead shows for autographs, and shortly after, the band confiscated a box of bootleg CDs of the session. Grisman said, after several years about being mad about their illegal release, I decided to bury the hatchet and make these tapes available. The tapes were released 7 years later, after the album, with the songs in the order recorded, with a few mistakes, false starts, and some talking between the musicians. It contains the only known version of Garcia performing Amazing Grace, which was played only after Pam Rice, Tony Rice's wife, requested it. Okay, so this lick is a very cool lick, and it's one of the infamous Tony Rice kind of esque jazz kind of things, arpeggios. And I also have a course called Bluegrass Guitar Arpeggios if you're interested in learning how to use arpeggios in your playing, like Tony and some of the other masters of the genre of bluegrass and bluegrass jazz, if you want to call it. So we start with this chord, and this is, I kind of think of this as, it's an E, and I think it's like a minor 11 or something like that. But I think of this in terms of, it looks like a B minor because of these two notes here. So if you could picture yourself playing a B minor, that would be with the bar chord with the first finger here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this finger here and this bar where it is. Then I'm going to lift this up and then put the pinky here on the D string, 5th fret. And so now we have bar a 2nd fret from the A string down. We have a pinky on the D string, 5th fret, and a middle finger on the B string, 3rd fret. And that gives us this nice E minor 13, 11. It would take me a minute to figure out what it is, but that gives us this nice chord. Okay, and then what he does is he strums this, and then he hits that open string a little harder. And then we come in with this, major or minor, 13. Once again, I'd have to sit here and analyze it. Arpeggio. And we start with the first note, which is a G. And I'm just going to refer to these not necessarily as the notes, but as the fret numbers and the actual strings. So we're going to start and do kind of like it's an arpeggio. I'm just barring this, and I'm going to start on the 3rd fret E string. I'm going to bar these two notes that make up an E minor, or E power chord, which refers to an E minor here. And then we're going to take, and there's a couple ways to do this, and I'll get over that. I'll get to that in a minute. This is kind of like the minor 9 part of this. And there's a reason I'm using my pinky to slide into this, and I'll explain that in just a minute. Okay, so we're going to come from the 0, 3rd fret E, barring the 2nd fret of the A string and D string, coming over with our pinky to the D string again, 4th fret, sliding into the 5th. Okay, so far that gives us. And then what we're going to do is we're going to arpeggiate what looks like and what is, in fact, a G major 7 chord. If I use that over a G, that gives us a G major 7. But because E minor and G major are relative major and minor, they share the same notes. So in this context, instead of giving a G major 7, it gives us like an E minor whatever, minor 9, minor 13. And the picking for me on this, the easiest way, is down, down, down. I'm sweeping this, and then an up. And then I would continue sweeping. Now you might want to go and then continue sweeping all the downstrokes, but for me it was easier to kind of hit an upstroke there. Okay, so we're just going to sweep those and try to keep those nice and cascading instead of. Okay, and then we're going to do kind of like classic Tony Rice. Going to highlight that D chord, and the notes in the D are what gives us that minor 9, minor 11, 13 flavor. And then again, and then I believe he hits an open string there, an open B instead of this note, because it kind of seems like it's got that timbre to it. If you want to, you could go that way. You could vibrate a little bit, and also if your B string is tuned just a hair flat like mine is, because of the way I press some of these chords, it won't sound in tune if you hit it open. So it might be better for you to hit that B note there at the 4th fret of the G string. So let's see. Now the other thing I wanted to point out, which I said I was going to get to, is the fact that I'm using my pinky to slide here rather than this ring finger to go to my pinky. Versus, and that's because it's hard for me when I'm pressing on this pinky to get my ring finger to move over, because it's got to hop over that G string from that D. And I found that hard to do, so it's just easier for me to slide into that with my pinky. Lifting off of these when I get to about 2 to 3 notes at a time, then I lift off that and try to at least separate them a little bit. So as far as picking upward, when I return back on this, picking up there and then reversing direction for the sweep. And for me it's easier to just come up on the up string, on the upstroke on the G string, and then hop over on a downstroke up there. Now I'm coming off, pull off there, upstroke, down, and then down, down again. Let me try a little faster to see what my picking hand is actually doing here. So that's 2 ups there. And it's probably a down and then up there. Or you can do two downs. It's up to you. What kind of attack you want. To me that felt a little weak, so let's try that with a downstroke there. Sounds better. So there you have it, the Tony Rice Pizza Tapes Appetizer 2 lick. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video. God bless, and as always, keep creating.